Alright, this is AutoCAD Exercise 1 tutorial. This drawing has 2 pages. All the dimensions are contained on those 2 pages and there's nothing else that you need. Some key information on the second page is regarding the placement of the circle in the object. It's actually going to be where we begin this drawing. We'll start with the circle and then we'll add the slotted notch on the end of it, and then from there we'll work on just the features of half of this shape because the other half looks identical. So we'll use the mirror command to actually complete it. So there'll be a good number of dimensions that get cut in half, starting with that line across the very top there. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a AutoCAD template file open. I've already set my layer properties. You should do the same right now so that yours match mine. And we're going to be starting on the construction layer. So let's go. Oh, I've also adjusted my units. Well, I need to adjust my units. So we do not need to have precision out to 4 decimal places. All of the dimensions for this drawing are in whole numbers. So click OK. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with the line tool and we'll draw a line that is 45 down, okay, and then it's going to be 42 over. Right. The next dimension that we need to, construction line that we need to draw is this angled line that represents 135 degrees from the vertical. Now a line, the total number of degrees for any line is 180 degrees. If I take 180 minus 135, I get 45 degrees. So keep that in mind because AutoCAD might show you a snap for 45 degrees before it shows you 135. Okay, so let's check our snaps. Go to polar snaps and we see 45, 90, 135, 180. Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and repeat the line command. Okay, so we're just going to draw a line. I'm going to set that line to equal the 27. Alright, and I'm getting 27 from the radius of the circle is 24 plus 3 for those line segments. Okay, now this is going to drive me crazy that my coordinates are showing up in the middle of my drawing, so I'm actually going to go ahead and move them. All right, if I click, well, how about if I get out of the line command? All right, so if we click on this world coordinate system, no, okay, I don't know why you want me to draw a polygon, but there we go. Okay, I'm going to set a new UCS and I'm just going to move that far and away. Okay, so I can set that over here. All right, and I brought my cursor out on the horizontal. Just hit enter. Okay, so that's my new coordinates. So now my drawing should not wind up going below that. If it does, I'll just move that again. Okay, switch to your object layer. Okay, I did not want to do that. Good. Okay, get the circle And we said the radius for the circle is 24. Okay, and now I'm going to use the offset tool to offset this line 6 above and below so that I can get where these two line segments are supposed to be set, and they'll wind up being at the right angle. The offset distance is 6. Alright, and now I'm going to get the line tool, and I'm tracing over those construction lines and making sure that the line is 3 units long. Okay, I can delete those construction lines now. Okay, now we'll go to the arc tool, and we're going to use that to draw this arc right here. Okay, it has a radius of 6. So let's go ahead and make sure that we have a start-end radius arc. Okay, and has a radius of 6. All right, that looks good. I'm going to get the trim tool, and I'm just going to erase the part of the circle that goes through there. And I'm all done. Okay, next we'll start working on the rest of this. All right, let's take a look at the drawing. So we have a line that is shows us where we're going to start, and that's the middle of this line going across the top. So from the midpoint to the end of that line is going to be 130 divided by 2, which is 65. Then there's an additional 15 that represents the distance from the end of that line to where this object kind of flattens out right along that edge there. You can see the arc. They're not two consecutive arcs. There's an arc and then a short line segment and another arc. Okay, so let's get that going. Okay, get the line tool, snap to the end point. All right, we've got a line segment that is 65 units long, and then we're going to add an additional 15 units on it. I'm going to bring that line down. I'm actually going to set that dimension at 40. And I'll explain more about why I chose that length in a minute. All right, go to fillet. And the radius is 15. Select our two lines. All right, so now we have a radius of 15 on here. Look back at the drawing. The distance from this curve to the curve on the slot is 9. I'm going to offset that arc 9, then I'm going to mirror it, and then we'll take it from there. Let's go ahead and get the offset tool. The distance of our offset is 9. We are offsetting the arc to the inside. Okay, finish your offset command and now go to mirror. All right, we are mirroring the arc. All right, the mirror point is going to be the end point of the arc. Bring your cursor straight down. Okay, next switch over to your construction layer, get the line tool, and I want you to draw a vertical line from the end point of the arc down, and the length of that line is 15.44. that measurement came, I've got the information right here. It says 15.44 is the length of the arc, of the slot. Okay, so if I just mirror these two arcs on the midpoint of this line, then I'll know where the other end of that slot is. I need to make sure that in my object snaps that I have midpoint selected. Alright, let's go back to the mirror command, select the two arcs. Okay, it is going to mirror on the midpoint of the line. Make sure that you're snapping to the midpoint and not to the center of the arcs, because the center of the arcs is actually somewhere right above here. And if you have the center snap turned on, that is going to show up as well. Alright, so the midpoint is the mirror line. Bring your cursor out 90 degrees, click, and you're done. Okay, now go to your object snaps, make sure that you have tangent selected, and now you'll have to turn off the endpoint snap because we're going to draw a line and we want that line to be tangent to these arcs. Alright, so right now all it wants to do is snap to the midpoint. So I've got to come back over here and turn off the midpoint snap. Alright, there we go. Okay, so I am tangent, perfect. Except I'm on the wrong layer, but I'll move that over in a minute. Alright, get the line command, there we go. Line. Alright, and I was on the wrong layer, so let's go ahead and move these two over to the object layer. Alright. Alright, the next step is going to be to offset this arc out 9 units. So, offset. The distance is still 9, so I can just hit enter. We're offsetting that arc. Okay, offset to the outside. You're done offsetting. Alright, now we just need to draw a line, and let me bring up the drawing. Okay, so this feature right here that we just finished, once we draw that slanted line, is a total of 40, and then there's a vertical line that is 20. Well, remember when we drew the construction line, or not construction, but we drew this line down, I said to draw that line at 40 units because that's going to help us know where our vertical line is supposed to go. So get onto my object layer, get the line tool, and if I have, okay, so I need to have extension is snapped, I need to have the endpoint snap, and let's see if that gets me going. Alright, so I didn't click on that endpoint, I'm just tracking from it. And what I need to do is I need to pick up the tracking from that endpoint and from the endpoint of my construction line. Once those two tracking points intersect, then I can click and draw a vertical line that is 20 units long. Okay, and the next thing that I'll do is draw a line that goes from the endpoint here and is tangent to the arc. Okay, get your trim tool and let's clean that up. Alright, so that's looking pretty good at this point. Now let's go back and take a look at the drawing and see what we've got left. Okay, so we know that the distance from the end of that line to the bottom is a total of 50. Okay, and it looks like the distance across? So we should calculate, is the width of this object the same at the bottom as it is at the top? Well, at the top I have 15 plus 130 plus another 15. So that's a total width of 160 at the top. And at the bottom we have 20, then 30, so that's 50, add 60, we're at 110, and then add another 50, and that's also 160. Okay, so we know that we can draw a line straight down, and that will let us know one of the dimensions that we'll need for getting this curve here. And this curve is going to be different than what's up top. This was actually at the top a curve, a straight line segment, and another curve. But you look at this is one continuous curve. Alright, so I think we've got all the information we need to keep going with our drawing. So let's get the line tool, and I want to draw a line that is straight down. Right? I didn't really pay much attention to how long it was. I'm going to do that with a construction line that I draw from the end here and come down, and it's 50. All right. All right, I'm going to stretch that line a little bit more. So that it is the same length. Okay. Yes, so those two are the same. All right, and at the bottom there, so I can't quite, I don't want to do the fillet tool like I did up at the top, but I know that it's measuring. It's going to be 20 from here to the center of the circle, and then another 30 coming over before I have to make a little quick jog up. All right, and that line dimension I can figure out if I know that the radius of the circle is 20. Okay, there we go. All right, so if the distance from the center of that circle down is 20, and the distance from the center of this circle to that line is 14, then that means that this line segment right here is going to be 6. Okay, so object layer, line tool. From the end point here, I am going to draw a line. It's 20 units, and then we said it had to be another 30, and then we were going to go up 6. And because we're going to be mirroring what we've drawn here, even though this line is dimensioned at 60, we're only going to draw half of that. So I'm going to type in 30 here. Okay, now up to your circles, we are going to choose a tan radius circle, and it needs to be tangent to this line, and it has a radius of 20. All right. Next we'll wind up, we'll trim these. So let's go ahead and clean that up a little bit. Okay. And now we need to draw a line that is tangent to our circle and goes right to the end of here, this line here. Okay, get the trim tool again, and let's just trim up this circle. I don't need that line anymore. We don't need that. And we don't need this or that. Okay. That looks good. If you need to stop the video, obviously, at any point to catch up, then you should do that. But at this point, everyone's drawing should look like this. And you can see that the drawing has once again gone below the x-axis, and that's going to bug me. So at a later point, before we would do the layouts for this drawing, I'd probably move that again. But for now, I'm going to leave it so we can focus on getting the drawing finished. Okay, we've got a circle that is inside of here. The information we need for that is on this drawing. Okay, so the circle has the same center as the one that we just drew. Okay, so if I have the center snap-on, I can go ahead and draw this. And then I'll get the information from the second drawing to help me figure out where to place this other circle. Okay, so object snaps, make sure my center snap is on. Okay, circle, I want a center radius circle. And if I bring my cursor over to the first circle that I drew, it shows me its center point so that I can get snapped on it. We've got a radius of 8. Okay, the next, well, you know what, I'm not even going to draw that next circle yet. Let's go ahead and get the rest of this mirrored right now. Okay, so I want a green selection box. Blue. Except I don't want that. Okay, so I'm just holding down the Shift key so that I can unselect these because I don't want those things to get mirrored along with everything else. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to get the mirror tool. Are you kidding me? Alright, let's select everything again. Alright, and mirror line. Okay. Alright, there we go. Alright, so placing the last circle that goes with this, we can, I'm just going to, this is the easiest way, is I'm going to just get a construction line, and from the corner right here, draw a construction line up 14 and over 10, and then draw the circle. So go to my construction layer, get the line tool, okay, up 14, over 10. Alright, go ahead and put that circle in there. Okay, and if you put it on the wrong layer, you can select it and just move it over to the object layer. Alright, and there you go. When you dimension it, you should be dimensioning it so that it is identical to what you see here. You will have all of your dimensions on one page, and you will have to look for ways to represent those dimensions better than what are shown here. This is not the best or cleanest dimensioning I've seen. So for instance, the 15.44, that dimension should not be crossing over an object line. These extension lines for the dimensions should probably be offset a little bit more from where they go. I think if you have a radius for this slot, you could just put typical, or you could put 2 times. The same thing for these circles down here. If they all have the same dimension, I don't see why you couldn't just put the 3 times and then have radius 8 and not have to show the the radius for the second circle. So good luck.